Hello and welcome to FatBoss Weekly Season 2, Episode 19.
Hello.
And for the people who don't know, FatBoss Weekly is mine and Loz's weekly news show where we talk about newsy type stuff and do a really annoying voice in the intro.
Yeah.
So, what's been going on, Loz?
So to start off this week,
Yeah.
Diablo 3.
Oh, gosh.
We haven't really touched on this in FatBoss Weekly.
No, you've been playing a shit ton of it.
I've been playing a lot.
I kind of played a bit on the expansion when it came out, and it was fun. I liked all the new stuff, like all the riffs and stuff like that. But then, like, it does always... every now and then, I go back to the game for a little while, and then it's kind of like, there's actually no point in what I'm doing at the moment. That, like, dawns on me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go play something else.
Whereas I've been playing 4 Witch Doctors.
Yeah, you've been playing 4 Witch Doctors, 4 Barbarians, 4 Wizards.
4 Wizards,
yeah.
I've been sort of flowing between all them. But anyway, this week only, to celebrate, it's the game's 2nd anniversary. So Blizzard have whacked in an in-game buff that increases your chance to get a legendary by 100%, which is amazing.
That's pretty crazy.
I tested it out last night for a little while. I got 38 legendaries in 1 hour.
That's across 4 accounts, just to let everyone know. So what? That's
I'm not saying that
to
like. I'm not saying that to like boast, but that's actually what I was getting.
Yeah.
So that just shows how good this fucking buff was, and this is on like Torment 3.
Okay.
So pretty insane, and not only that, you also get double rift fragments,
which makes it so you can go into those adventure mode.
You can
rifts,
go into the
right?
rifts,
yeah,
a lot easier.
So that's really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome, and this runs out on the 22nd of May, which is the Thursday.
So if you've got some free time over the weekend, you might want to pop back in to see if you can get some legendaries and have some fun, I suppose.
Yes.
I don't think I will. It just always dawns on me that it's pointless. So either way, cool. That's nice for the Diablo peoples.
Now moving on to WoW.
Okay.
Blizzard have announced a new mount.
A new mount?
On Twitter. There's just a picture, so they haven't really announced it.
Okay.
But they've shown us a preview of the new mount, and it looks really weird.
Yeah.
They haven't said, just like the previous mount, how you're going to obtain it, how you're going to get it. Probably going to be Blizz Store. But
Probably.
It looks amazing.
Okay.
It looks like a old sort of AQ40 style.
Yeah. It can actually
battle
fly
tank.
as well.
Yeah. So
yeah, I saw a GIF on I think it was the WoW subreddit, and it was like, oh, it can fly as well, and like it was really weird. It was confusing, but that's quite interesting news. All these little mounts they've been designing in the background. I guess it's something for them to do while they wait for Warlords.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool looking mount though. Looking forward to
is.
see exactly where that is coming from.
Now talking about waiting for Warlords, Lawrence. 5.4.8. I didn't even know it was existing until a couple days ago.
Yeah, so this is the next patch that is coming out for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, for Mists.
For Mists, yep. And it's currently on the PTR, but people can go on the PTR and test this. And there's a lot of interesting things that are coming out with this patch. Now, to start off, what they're doing is they're making it so all upgradable epic items obtained in patch 5.4 and beyond, so basically Siege of Orgrimmar, Ordos, Timeless Isle, any gear that came into the game at that point in time will now be given the option to upgrade more than just the 2 times. You can now upgrade it 4 times.
So 16 plus item levels.
Yeah. So we're getting an extra 8 item levels.
If you're already double upgraded, yeah.
On all gear. And really, thinking about this is just a nerf. This is a Siege of Orgrimmar nerf.
Yes, it is a Siege of Orgrimmar nerf, but I think it's a very good Siege of Orgrimmar nerf. Like, if you are going to nerf it, I think this is quite a nice way of doing it, rather than going into the instance and, I know Thrall's at the beginning and he's like, I'm shouting at all the mobs so they have less health, or I'm shouting at you so you have more health and damage. It's like you have to kind of work for your nerf, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it isn't just you go in and you're suddenly stronger. It's something that you have to still work on, because upgrading all your gear is like 6 or 7k Valor. Like, give or take, depending if you have double weapons or whatever. It's roughly around there, so you're not going to be able to do it all in one go.
Exactly. It's going to take you weeks and weeks and weeks to actually upgrade all your gear to that point, especially if you're getting like brand new upgrades.
Yeah,
from
brand new
Siege of
upgrades is 1k now to fully upgrade it. So I'm talking, say you got all of your gear double upgraded already, it will cost you about 6k. So it costs you about 14 odd k more if you're doing all of the pieces of gear. So,
and people did ask Blizzard, they did ask them on the forums where this information was posted on the WoW website, saying why didn't you just bring in a zone-wide buff like you've done with TOT, like you did with ICC. And Bashok responded with, I prefer earning my power and playing to get stronger. Zone-wide buffs and debuffs always feel like kind of like pity. I don't want to be pitied, I just want more paths to success.
And I 100% agree with him, like just like I said a second ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good way of doing it. Like, I don't necessarily agree that Blizzard should always be nerfing the content, but, like, they will anyway. They've done this all the time.
Yeah.
That the longer the tier goes on, the easier the tier gets. Once well, of course you get gear and shit like that, and everyone starts getting gear, but they do want everyone to complete it before the next set of content comes out.
And I mean, we've touched this on the live stream where we talked about nerfs generally.
Yeah.
And I think me and you are both in a boat where content should never be nerfed unless it's impossible.
Yeah, unless it's
like
broken.
some of the old 10-man content in Cataclysm, where some of the fights were literally impossible until they changed some aspect of the fight. Whereas nerfing fights purely because enough people aren't seeing them, I think it's kind of a spit in the face to hardcore raiders. But hardcore raiders are such a small minority of people who play this game.
Yeah, like, fuck you, see you later, buddies.
Yeah, because the game shouldn't be made for those small percentage of people. It's made for the majority, because the majority of the people who are paying for the subs. But one thing they could do to prevent this problem, which we've also said before, is add more difficulties.
Well, another thing is that, like, I do agree with you that this will kind of benefit the majority of players in the game, but isn't there kind of like an aspect that, like, in the game where you want to become as strong as the hardcore raiders? You see that guy in Orgrimmar who's got 580 item level and you're like, holy fuck, I want to be that guy. That's really, really cool. So going into that content, it should be difficult. It should be hard for them to do. I think it's nice that you can clear all the content now. You got looking for raid, you can clear all of it. You got flexes, you can clear all of it fairly easily. You're not going to have too many problems with those sort of modes to clear it, and that means you can see the content. Great.
Yeah.
Normal and heroic. I know there's some people still struggling on normal modes because either they don't raid enough or that they're not in a guild that really are like pushing really, really hard to do it, or even in heroic people are still struggling to get on and do it. But I still think that it's important that it stays the same, because otherwise they're getting a diluted version, and it's kind of like, if you want to get the best of the best and you want to kill Garrosh on heroic, then you're going to fucking work for it. And you're going to fucking work hard for it. You've already seen him in those Babby versions. If you want to see Phase 4 IRL, then you're going to have to work hard. If they're saying, oh, we want everyone to see this extra phase, so we're nerfing all the content, well, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. And before people think, oh, it's only 8 item levels, that doesn't mean anything. It means a lot.
Yeah, that's
going to give you so much more DPS, so much more HPS output, and so much more tank survivability, as well as tank DPS output as well. So it will make the content a lot easier, because the content is scaled for people to be in, what, 570 item levels, something like that on heroic for the later end fights.
Yeah.
And if you're in, I mean, you'll be able to get 570 just from normal gear now. You'll be able to quadruple upgrade it to 569.
Yeah.
So if you just did normals for like a couple of months, and everyone didn't even get Warforged gear, just normal gear, full biz set of normal gear, you could then quadruple upgrade it all and go kill Garrosh heroic straight away.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
without even getting a single heroic piece.
So yeah, even though I am very much against nerfs, I think this is a very good nerf.
It's a good way of nerfing it. It's a lot better, because at least you have to progress towards it. But it's also quite a good way of keeping people busy in the game and keeping subs up.
Oh yeah, because at the moment I'm really excited. Like, even though I'm against, like, no nerfs, and there's a part of me inside me like, I ain't more item levels. I'm gonna do so much damage. And like, sure, it's a consequence, man. Like, disengage isn't even gonna have a cooldown. I'm just gonna be flying around in circles like permanently. It'll be great.
But you know, that I feel almost like it is some sort of way of Blizzard trying to keep people a little bit more in the game and keeping subs up, because instead of just nerfing the content, they're making people work towards the nerf.
Yeah.
By farming that extra Valor points. But one thing they are doing to sort of continue on that point is that in the next patch as well, you'll be able to get Valor points by spending Timeless Isle coins.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be a new item called Deeds of Valor, which you'll be able to buy for 3,000 Timeless coins, and every time you use this item, it will give you 100 Valor. Okay. And I assume it consumes the item. That's
so you need, like,
appears to be.
You need 30,000 per week then to get capped.
Exactly, yeah. The item itself is currently planned to be bind on pickup.
Oh, okay.
So you're not going to be able to throw it around your account, which I don't really get. I think you should be able to do that. But Valor points gained from the item itself won't go over the Valor cap.
Okay, yeah.
So you're still stuck on 1,000 a week. But it just means that you'll be able to spend your Timeless Isle coins to actually get the Valor, rather than you having to spam dungeons. Although I don't understand why people don't do challenge modes. Challenge modes are amazing for Valor capping.
But it's kind of like you need to be a little organised for
Yeah,
that.
you need to be organised.
Like, to be honest, if I just log on a Valor cap, I'll just go do a couple heroic scenarios.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I do. But doing 10 heroic scenarios is fucking boring and dull and long as shit. Whereas at least they're now giving you another option with these timeless coins.
Yeah, exactly. Because
So,
I have like fucking loads of them. I ain't using them for shit.
they're not used for anything.
Yeah.
If you started doing the timeless soul in TOT gear right at the start of 5.4, you didn't need any of the loot that dropped or anything. All you spent your timeless soul coins on was either getting the mounts or the pets. There was nothing else to spend them on. So now at least they're giving you the option to hand them in for Valor. They also picked up on the legendary cloak in terms of the item level upgrade.
Oh, okay.
When you buy the cloak now, as most people know, it's automatically upgraded twice. It will not be automatically upgraded 4 times, so you're also going to need to upgrade your cloak twice.
Oh, okay. Do you think that the cloak proc will be stronger then?
I assume so, yeah.
Like, do you think it will, like, maybe last longer for, like, I don't know, for healers, isn't it? It makes it so your spells within a certain time are free and stuff, isn't that how it works, or...
Yeah, but I don't know. I think you'll probably just upgrade the stats.
Probably.
I mean, especially like the tank one. The tank one's just an effect. You can't really buff that effect.
Well,
through item level.
yeah, that's true.
But the Garrosh heirloom weapons also, they're having their item level increased by 8 because you can't upgrade those at all. So they're just being flat upgraded. And the reason why they're doing that is because some people right now who might be progressing through heroic might have a Garrosh normal heirloom, and they're using that as their primary weapon. And with everything else being upgraded,
it'll be shit now.
It'll be shit.
Yeah.
But they're making it so they're all upgraded as well, so they can actually be useful. And in terms of when this patch is actually coming out, they still don't know. They're not ready to say. So that's what's happened in 5.4.8.
Yes, so it's pretty crazy overall. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, like, even though you might just see on the surface 8 item levels, though, well, don't mean shit. It really does
It means a lot. And also, which we didn't really pick up on, that I don't really want to go into too much detail, is that it's also going to affect the PvPers because they're not getting their PvP gear upgraded. They won't be able to upgrade it 4 times. It's only like PvE gear that you can actually upgrade. And they fixed the whole world PvP problem by bringing out the new season, having the item level of the PvP gear really high. Was it 550 or 555, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Having the extra 8 item levels now on the PvE gear might make that gear a little bit shit.
Well, the thing is, if you're talking about world PvP, then yeah, 100%. World PvP, PvE gear is generally better if you like best in slot.
Yeah.
But like if you go in arenas or battlegrounds, all that shit,
you're still going to be useless.
Yeah, because it's 522. I think it gets nerfed down to, so it's fucking useless anyway.
And now you're going to get all the PvEs back on the Timeless Soul to get the 3,000 coins to get the Valor. I mean, I assume that's going to be quicker than actually doing dungeons.
I don't know.
It depends. It depends if you're doing a group or not. But either way, if you are doing that, all the
blood coin people.
Exactly.
I know it's part of the game, blood coin people, but come on. So moving away from the whole 5.4.8, we've got some more Warlords of Draenor looky likes, Lawrence. We've got a bit of a look into the Warlords, and today we're seeing the Night Elf female model.
I think it looks amazing.
It does look very nice.
Really, really good.
There was a lot of people who were angry about it though, Lawrence. Pitchforks were raised. Everyone was going nuts. She didn't have any fangs. She didn't have any fangs in the picture. And they normally have fangs. Like, everyone was going nuts.
Did they add fangs?
That literally the whole of Stormwind was burned to the ground. It was nuts.
But they added fangs, right?
Someone on Twitter, I can't remember who it is, I do apologise, it'll probably be up on the screen, said, oh yeah, by the way, there are going to be fangs, it just wasn't in that preview.
Oh, right, okay.
And then everyone was like, oh, okay then. So, Stormwind is being rebuilt as we speak to sort all that out. But I think overall, this Night Elf model, once again, looks very good. I think Blizzard
again, it just looks so much more smoother in that ass. Shit. It just looks, it just looks a lot better.
Yeah, so awesome news.
Good shit with that.
Now, moving on to the part of the show, we look at our mail.
You guys know how it works. Send in your mail to us on Facebook, Twitter, or on Twitch, and there's a chance you'll be featured in next week's show.
And first off, we have got a question from Beats Wow on Twitch. He says, hi, me and my friend just started to level new characters on Draenor EU, and we're aiming on getting to level 90 before the summer. But my question is it worth trying to get the legendary cloak? I mean, it might take a lot of time to get it, and I might not do it in time for Warlords of Draenor, or I will succeed and get the cloak before Warlords of Draenor, but I will replace it right away for some leveling gear in Warlords of Draenor. Should I try and get it? By the way, love your guides, and I've been watching you since you had 5k subs. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Beats. Well,
thanks a lot, dude. So, getting the legendary cloak, it depends exactly what you want to do. If you want to just get 90 and then go AFK into Warlords of Draenor, the cloak's not really going to be for you. But if you're looking at going into raiding or doing some LFR or anything like that, you might as well go for the cloak. And what you've got to remember is that the cloak is fucking OP as shit, and the item level on it is pretty damn high. So it will probably be better than most cloaks until like you're quite far into the Warlords of Draenor leveling experience. You probably won't replace it. I mean, this is it's hard to say, but I don't think you replace it until maybe 95, maybe 96, something like that. I mean, some items from in previous expansions through the leveling experience you don't replace at all. Like certain trinkets, you only replace once you get a raid trinket because some of the 5-man ones are terrible or whatever. Yeah. So the cloak may well be the same, especially for healers and tanks because of the effect. Maybe not so much for DPS because the proc might not be that strong. But, yeah, you just need to weigh it up. Are you going to raid? Are you not going to raid?
Yeah, because I don't imagine it will be probably Biz or anything at max level. It definitely won't be.
It probably won't.
But no. I think it'll be very nice for leveling because it like especially like on my DPSs, like my hunter and my rogue, like it is a really big part of your DPS, and it's ginormous, and it's really good generally. Like if you got an AOE pack, it does a ton of damage. Like I don't see a bad point in getting it. Like just work towards it while you're doing LFRs and everything, because pretty much like especially like even the sigils of wisdom and stuff, the very first part, you can get all of that shit just from doing Siege of Orgrimmar. It drops off of all the bosses in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And same with every other bit of loot. It all drops to Siege of Orgrimmar. So even if you're only doing Siege of Orgrimmar, you would eventually be able to get it. It'll take you a fucking long time, but you would eventually be able to get it. So I think maybe start working towards it if you are thinking of like raiding and getting there very, very quickly, but I imagine it wouldn't be amazing in Warlords of Draenor. I think it'd be okay during the level experience, but it'll drop off.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that question, Beatswell. And the next question comes from Akinara on Twitch, who says, on my Rep Paladin, I have trouble finding a group, not because of my gear, experience or performance, but because I'm a melee DPS class. People seem to have it in their head that a group cannot function with more than one melee or 2 melee DPSs in a 10-man group and would be better off with none. From first-hand experience, I know this is completely false. Is there anything that can be done to counteract this mindset? Could you guys possibly use your worldwide influence to smack up some sense in the general WoW playing population? Thank you very much for that question.
I don't know about worldwide influence. But melee DPS, Lawrence, why are bad?
Well, I wouldn't say they're bad, it's just ranged are better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fights in Siege of Orgrimmar where melee can become more of a hindrance than actually be helpful. Fights like Malkrok, for example. If you have too many melee DPS on that fight, on Heroic, when you have to go soak all the puddles, the melee have to run out of melee range to go soak them because you just have too many melee.
Yeah.
Which is a really bad way of doing it because it's just a massive DPS loss because they can't even attack the boss because they're out of range and they just stand there twiddling their thumbs waiting for a circle to explode. That's obviously only one example, but there are other situations in Siege of Orgrimmar where melee aren't as good as ranged. And obviously, melee just have the fundamental problem where if they have to target switch and the target is not in melee range already, then it's a DPS loss because they have to run over towards that target. Whereas range, they just need to pivot 30 degrees on the spot and just change target and keep casting. They're just casting constantly. And ranged can do so much damage while moving now compared to what they used to a couple of years back.
That is going to be changed in Warlords.
Which is being changed in Warlords. But as for right now, I'd still say that range are better than melee. However, there are some melee that I would still bring, especially in a 10-man. There's some melee I still would bring. One would definitely be a rogue. And if I had to bring 2, Paladin would potentially be on that list. Especially for some fights like Thok. Paladins still have amazing utility and Ret still does decent damage. But Warriors banners are really nice.
Yeah, demo banner's really good, as well as the crit banner. Yeah. I don't even know what that's called. Everyone just says Skull it's crit banner. I don't know. But yeah, that's really fucking useful.
Death Knights, I put at the bottom of the stack though. I don't think they have anything that's really that decent. Anti-magic zone's really good for fights like Garrosh, and the grip is really nice for fights like Garrosh, but they don't really have anything else.
What about monks?
Monks are just right on the... monks just do a lot of damage, that's it. It's like enhancement shamans. I don't even look at them. In a 10-man comp, I'd never have a monk and I'd never have an enhancement shaman.
As melee DPS.
As melee DPS, yeah. Because they both bring nothing.
Yeah.
All they do is a lot of single target DPS. They probably do more than Rets. They probably do more than Rogues. They probably do more than Death Knights and Warriors. But they bring no utility.
That's the problem with 10-man, is because you have such a limited amount of players, everyone needs to have something that's useful for you, you know? If there's someone in there who's doing, oh great, he's doing a shit ton of damage, but
that's all well and good for
mechanics
that
coming
fight.
in.
But
And
if
then,
you, I mean, if you're on a fight which doesn't really need utility, I mean, if you're on like Fallen Protectors, for example,
yeah, you don't really need
sure,
utility for that.
bring all the fucking enhancement shamans and Windwalker monks you want. But when you get to a fight that actually requires some form of cooldowns like Garrosh or I don't know, Siegecrafter in certain points. Thok, or I don't know, enhancement shamans are kind of nice on that.
Are they?
Yeah. Keep down healing rain the entire time. And,
oh, right, yes, sweet. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
But generally, if you are going to do 10 man, I would never bring more than 2 melee. I'd never bring more than 1. If I had to bring 2, though, I would definitely consider a ret.
Yeah.
So
another thing that you got to take into account as well is if you have too many melee, like again, like they're all going to be grouped up around the boss. If you have 10 ranged, they can all be spread around really far away from each other. If you have like 10 melee, they're all on top of each other. Like, they can't spread out in order to deal with mechanics. That's why you can't have too many melee on any fight.
Yeah, because you get to the point where the mechanics that are supposed to hit the range start hitting the melee.
Exactly. So it's generally, like, it's just not a great idea to bring too many melee. There is a problem in the game where melee are a kind of end up being a bit more of a hindrance when you bring too many of them. But I think that will change in Warlords. I hope that they change that in Warlords.
And ultimately, you could do pretty much the whole of Siege of Orgrimmar Heroic with a lot of melee. You could probably do it on 10 man with 3 or 4 melee.
Do it with 10 Death Knights.
It'd just be or 10 Death Knights. It just would be fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's possible, so...
Thank you very much for the question.
And the next question comes in from Gary on Facebook, who says, "Hey Fatboss, love the show. I listen to it every Sunday while I'm in the car driving around."
Yeah, I guess he's driving to somewhere, not just around about listening to the show. So the only place you can listen to us is in the car.
Oh, right, okay.
He's been exiled from the house. We're not allowed in the house anymore. We've offended someone. We're banished to the car. But hello, hope you're not, like, check your mirrors if you're listening in the car. Be careful.
Anyway, question for you guys. My girlfriend and I play WoW together and currently play a hunter and a warrior tank combo. We are looking to make new characters in Warlords of Draenor, and I would like to get your guys' opinion on what combination of the classes would be fastest for leveling, as well as have a smooth transition into Warlords of Draenor tier raiding. Clearly, double rogue might be fun to level, but we would never raid. Thanks for the feedback and keep the videos coming.
Yeah, so double rogue is quite fun to level.
Yeah.
I've actually leveled double rogue, and it's pretty stupid what some sort of stuff, especially if you're on a PvP realm and you kind of meet other like players, similar level players. You can kind of go ruffle stompy on them, which is quite fun. But so yeah, the thing is, once again, Warlords of Draenor plus give beta, because we can't say right now, oh yes, Paladins are looking really good for leveling, or Warlocks are looking really good for leveling. It's really hard to say.
I think the best thing for people to look at is try and play as many different classes now, try and get an eye and a feel for how the classes are right now. Because although a lot of the classes are changing how they work, fundamentally they'll probably feel similar. Yeah. That's what usually happens with most classes anyway. Even when the classes go through a ginormous change, they still feel kind of similar to how they did before. And because of how Flex is going to work in the next expansion, if you're the kind of player that likes raiding Flex and you're happy just raiding Flex and Flex only, it doesn't matter what you're playing, you'll still get a spot because it's between 10 and 30 players.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So you can choose whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. In terms of what will be fastest, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to be fastest?
Like, I think, like, in terms of maybe a role option, I think having a tank as part of your leveling group is quite good, because you can do the mass pulls if you want to do.
Yeah, but then you need a DPS to back it up.
Yeah, exactly. So a tank DPS combo is really, really nice. And maybe if you have a tank that can heal themselves, or a DPS that can throw some passive healing out, like maybe like an elemental shaman, or maybe
a boomkin or something.
Yeah, something like that. Or the tank is of course like a paladin, or I think all tanks can heal themselves.
All tanks have self-healing mechanics,
yeah, but like some are better than others, so you might be better to try and pick that up as well. Because of course, when you are leveling, you don't want to stop at any point. If you're trying to do it fast, you want to just keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. So yeah, I'd probably go with a tank DPS combo if there's just the two of you. You can go double DPS, I'm sure that'd be just as effective. I wouldn't go healer under any circumstances, because their damage is just too low, flat out. Yeah. Unless you're part of like a 5-man team, then maybe have like 1 tank, 1 healer, and 3 DPS. That might be good, but honestly, we can't really say at this point. But
again, in terms of what actual classes to play, it's kind of difficult to say. But if you get a feel of each class now, you can sort of work out exactly what both of you like playing, and then you could probably move forward from there. And ultimately, for Warlords, all classes are probably going to be balanced. They're going to try and make balanced every class. I mean, they try and make every class more balanced every single tier, essentially.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go a little bit the wrong way, Disc Priests and Warlocks, But, you know, they always try and rebalance it, so they'll probably try and keep up with that. And I'm sure most classes will be useful. And they did say for Mythic, they do expect one of each spec to be available for
one of
fight.
each class, yeah.
Well, no, one of each spec. They said they want what they expect Mythic raiding guilds to have one of each spec available in their roster for fights.
Oh, okay then. Well, there you go. So make sure you know everything about everything, and you'll be fine.
Although I doubt you're going to see enhancement shamans. And
exactly. This fight needs 2 enhancement shamans and 4 holy priests in order to open the gate or some shit.
I don't think we're going to get that.
I don't know. That sounds pretty good, actually.
Thanks a lot for that question, Gary. Drive safely.
So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you do want to be featured in next week's show for the mailbox, and make sure you do send in your questions or art or anything into Facebook, Twitter and Twitch. All those links are in the description below, as well as all the links of all the things we have talked about today. And of course, we will see you next week.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Because you'll be able to double upgrade it to, well, quadruple upgrade it to... Again. Really?
Sorry. Oh.